We're all recorded and set to go. So it is absolutely my honor and pleasure to get to kick off the Women's Coaching and Consulting Council Day event. And it is always such an honor because Kathleen Caldwell, truly our champion of women's leadership across the C-suite platform for 8 years now. I don't know, a long time. And it's just been such an amazing adventure journey. And as we continue to scale and grow, and this council gets really focused in on the power of our coaches and consultants and how we make that difference, how we create that impact. And I mean, all of us are inspired every moment we get to have with Kathleen in terms of her promise to deliver on that and how she literally exudes it from every cell of her body. So if you don't know Kathleen Caldwell very well and you haven't spent real time with her, you absolutely need to. She is the CEO of Caldwell Consulting Group and the founder of this council. And truly someone I am very proud to call my friend, which is why I was so excitedly updating her on something she was helping me, nudging me about last week earlier. Kathleen Caldwell, I'm thrilled to hand things over to you. And I know we have some incredible content today.
Trisha, Ben, thank you. And may I say, on behalf of the Women's Coaching and Consulting Council, we're sending lots of love to you and to each of you. Thank you very much. Thanks for your leadership in C-Suite Network. And we're just so thrilled. Yeah. Take yourself off mute and let's give Trisha some love in here. A little woohoo.
Woohoo. Hey.
Yeah.
Right back to you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. That's really great. Great. So we, ladies, we've got a tremendous program today. Oh my goodness. And so we're going to like we always do, we get in, we get it handled, and we get out and we get activating on what we're learning. So I am going to just go over just a couple slides for you, and welcome to everyone who was joined. We're so happy you're here. Yes. Yeah. So jumping in, so excited to be here, and let's come on. Yeah, there we go. So today is all about loving your LinkedIn and, of course, optimizing our success, because as our amazing speakers are going to talk about, is LinkedIn is an ecosystem. And I think as powerful women, LinkedIn is perfect for us, so it's our time now to really love it up and let LinkedIn love us up back, right? Because we're all about reciprocity, ladies, right? And thank you, Trisha, for the introduction. I'm Kathleen Caldwell, and I have had a long history of loving and supporting and nudging and being a cheerleader, but also being a confidant to powerful women. So I am so grateful that you're all here. This is terrific. And if you're watching the replay, thank you to you. Big kisses. And our agenda is very simple. We have got, we're going to welcome our speakers and introduce our speakers. We've got some new and exciting things we want to announce to you. And we've got, as you can imagine, always tremendous valuable content. Today is all about actionable things that you can learn, that you can take out and use literally within 5 minutes after you take your little break, do a little stretching. You can use this information right away, strategies. And this is the inside track on loving your LinkedIn. So we're so glad you're here. And before we go any further, we have had some incredibly powerful programs, and the replays are up. Last month, we had the power of authenticity with Dr. D. Holstein Vandervalk. Whoa, if you were there, give some sparkle fingers. It was just tremendous, the power of authenticity. Yeah, really, really great. And of course, the age of insight, Christina DiGiacomo. Oh my goodness. Christina used, as well as Dr. D, and also our today, they used the power of our platform here to create new content, new ideas, new bodies of work that they're now going to be rolling out and introducing and piloting to the world. So that's the whole premise of the Women's Coaching and Consulting Council, is we get to showcase you, we get to highlight you, we get to elevate and lift you up and give you an opportunity to monetize your participation. So that was an incredible program. Wow. And of course, as I finish up here, our values are the C-Suite Network's values, but we add a little feminine touch to things, don't we, ladies? A little feminine touch. Relevancy, reach, reciprocity, respect. And we come to our council with a we first mindset and action. We're all about co-acceleration and collaboration. We're all about lifting each other up so that we can all rise and be more, enjoy more, have more, and be in a real true sisterhood. So again, so glad that each of you are here. And you may have known us as the Women's Leadership Council. We got a little uplift. I don't want to say we had a facelift, but we had a little refinement here at the beginning of the year. And we really noticed that, did an analysis that all of our members are thought leaders, coaches, consultants, speakers, authors, really, really smart women. So why don't we pivot our council to serve you? So this is our focus to help and elevate you. And of course, just finally, our council, we're just starting with this new lifting up of our new council and our new branding and our new focus, but it's all about, we're going to have designation and badges. So you can be an official C-Suite Network women's coaching and consulting coach, consultant. You're going to get a badge and a designation. We're working on that right now. This year, we're going to be focusing on advanced education for you, how you can grow, scale your business, what's working now in the world. Because ladies, what was working 6 months and a year ago? Not so much, but what's timely now? And if you have an interest in getting to corporate, getting into associations, professional groups, and being more of an executive coach, we're going to have programs on that. And then finally, group programs, mentorships, joint venture partnerships, alliances, so we don't have to work as hard. So if you're interested in having more fun, making more money, building a legacy, and not working so hard, give me some sparkle fingers here. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. And finally, the whole premise and the whole mission for the Women's Coaching and Consulting Council is that we want to help you grow, scale, and succeed and soar together through a co-acceleration model. So I'm very, very excited. And I think we're the only council that's doing this now, ladies. We're the only council. So we're in a very unique spot, just like Baskin-Robbins was at the very beginning. You know, if Baskin-Robbins, when they started off, I know all of us love ice cream. If we only had one flavor to serve our clients and customers, if we were only had vanilla, which I love vanilla, but that was all we were able to serve to the world, our options would be very limited. What we want to do is support you in having a portfolio, diversified kind of business where you get to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, and with whom you want to do it with. And so finally, you know, the thing that we've really learned in our council is that now more than ever, the world needs us to shine our light, to bring our light, and to come out of the cave, you know, the COVID cave, and to come out and really shine the light on what we do, who we are, who we're here to serve, and to do it in a sisterhood, to lock arms with each other and really be out there co-accelerating together. So that's what our council is here to do, is to help you shine your light. So as we complete, so if you like any of this, give me little sparkle fingers, loving it. Yeah, I think that this is also could be a little tricep, you know, exercise, right? You know, we can do a little tricep, right? Because we're all about, you know, moving our you know what, you know, the philosophy is the mind can only absorb what this down here can absorb too. So we've got to move things around a little bit. Well, thank you. So without further ado, I'd love to welcome and introduce our two speakers today on Love Your LinkedIn. Deb Creer is an amazing woman, unabashed connector, strategic relationship expert, podcaster of the Business Power Hour. Now, Deb, I want to, if you could take yourself off mute quickly. Are you, I know you're past 700 in your podcast.
I
Where are you
recorded
now?
I recorded 745 yesterday.
Ladies,
And
that
it is, of course, on
amazing.
C-Suite Network.
Oh, absolutely. On C-Suite Network. Fantastic. Wow. Very impressive. Yes. So this lady knows her stuff about podcasting and getting her voice out there, which we're going to learn more about today on our session. And then, of course, Carol Kammerer. I love Carol too. I am so delighted. I've been enjoying her book, LinkedIn for the Savvy Executive, Volume 2, second edition. Super fantastic book. Highly recommend that you go and purchase her book. Great, great resource. Carol is an executive branding coach. She's a speaker and an author. And these two ladies, they activated the heck out of our LinkedIn posts. I don't know if you've been noticing, but the three of us, we've been a little SWAT team together. And thank you to each of you for helping us activate today. So with that, I'd like to turn over our program to Deb and Carol. Welcome. So take yourself off mute and let's give them a big wahoo, woo, and aloha maybe. Aloha.
Aloha.
Woo. Yeah, great.
Aloha.
Yeah. Woohoo.
Awesome.
Carol is going to lead us off, so I'm going to put myself back on mute.
Well, I'm hoping there. Okay, let's see
There
if
we
I can
go.
get to just the slides. Yes. Oh, good. You know, I'm coming to you from Hawaii today, and I only have one screen, and it's so different than when I'm operating back in Minnesota with my two screens. So let me just activate my timer. And here we go. When we put this together, Deb and I really have a passion for people to use LinkedIn effectively. Have you ever been pitching a company for a service and you find that every member of their C-suite team is checking out your LinkedIn profile, and oh, you hadn't counted on that and it doesn't look so good? That's what we're trying to avoid. And so today, Deb and I are going to give you just a few tips of how you can love yourself and love your LinkedIn profile, because if your profile is not attracting ideal for you opportunities, it's not optimized. It's not working the way it should. And so I know that every profile that is memorable and that works well starts right here at your heart center. We want you to be authentically you on your profile, because when you are, you're building know, like, and trust before the conversation even starts. So another thing to call coming from your heart center is your brand. And that may not be helpful because some of us are not quite sure about brand, but I have a signature system that I use with every one of my executive clients to find their brand sufficiently for their LinkedIn profile. And I'm going to share it with you today. It's very, very simple. It starts with 3 questions. So the first question is, what are the 3 things you want to be known for? That sounds simple enough, right? But here's the catch. When somebody asked me that 30 years ago, I wanted to be known for 6 things. Absolutely, I was so remarkable. They should know the breadth of my experience, and I could be all things to all people, and wouldn't that be great? I wanted to make sure that they understood how many things I could do. Here's the problem with that. 3 is always sticky. 3 is powerful. It's why preachers and teachers and authors and writers and orators use that formulation of 3 to help us to remember. And the converse is true too. More than 3 makes you look unfocused. And when we are unfocused, we are not the ideal business partner for anyone. So, question number 1 was, what are the 3 things you want to be known for? Question number 2 is, what are your differentiators? What are the things that people come to you for all the time? They may not be your subject matter expertise. It could be the way you think, the way you connect the dots, the way you relate to people. Think broadly when you are thinking about your differentiators. Now, for this exercise to really be helpful, I really suggest that you actually spend time with each of these questions, writing down your answers. The third question is, what are your key words? Because LinkedIn is our story, and we need to know what words to use so that people can understand our story. So they range from job titles to our essential skills, like communication and the way that we lead, and our personal style. Are we somebody who always is going full speed ahead, or are we thoughtful? Do we take some time before we jump in? All of those things can be key words for you. So if you put these all together, your answers to each of those 3 questions, you will have incredible building blocks for your LinkedIn profile. I'm going to give you 2 minutes, Kathleen, for us to take up just a sample of what this is about. And what I want you to do in your gift of 2 minutes is to think about the 3 things you want to be known for in the world of work. Kathleen's going to time us. You all keyed up? Good.
So 1 more minute left. Okay, here we are.
Okay. Love it.
Okay.
Excellent. So I'd like to know, was that easy or was it hard? come off mute and talk to me a little bit.
I think it's hard to narrow things down. It's kind of once you get started, there's a flood, and then it is hard to narrow things down.
Yeah.
And what is it, ladies, about we have so many interests that it's hard to narrow it down.
I
And
also
someone else
think-
was jumping in too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so-
also think it's hard to see yourself, right? But without, and I say this all the time, it's hard to see that outside label when you're inside the jar. So things that we see about ourselves, or that what we want to be known for, maybe other people see different things that we don't always think is such a gift, right? Maybe it's just so second nature that we don't see it as really as truly a gift that we can embrace and embody and bring to other people.
Well, and I think if other people are describing you in ways that you don't actually think that pertains to you, that's a red flag to say, I need to focus and I need to be more strategic with my words that I choose.
Irene had something to say.
Yeah, I've been working on this, and I just have a new background, so it's still a work in progress. But so the third one is still not quite there yet, but I've been trying to focus on the three things. So this is very timely. Thank you, Carol.
Excellent, excellent. When I work with someone, I spend about in the first hour of our time together, we work on this exercise and also hearing their story. So it does take a while, and whoever said it was easier to do with someone else, it is easier to do with someone else, someone who has listened to you for a while or who knows who you are. But
Trisha and Susan had their hands up.
oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Susan,
Yeah, I
had
know
her
you
hand up
can't
before
see,
me.
so I'll
Yeah.
be your eyes.
Susan had her hand up before me.
Susan Younger had her hand up.
Yeah.
Just going to say, sometimes when you make that list, it's great to ask others what they think of us, because that becomes that double check. It becomes that if you've been serving them, how have they felt most served, as a great way to define what you maybe take for granted.
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially with regard to your differentiators, if you can't figure out what your differentiators are, the people that you have worked with absolutely know what your differentiators are. Asking is a great, great idea. So somebody else?
Trisha.
I had my hand up. This was so exciting. I spilled the beans to Kathleen on a FaceTime call just before the meeting started. And Deb and Carolyn could hear me, and she reminded me that they could hear me, but I was so excited to share. I'm finally getting back to my book, which I completely set aside to get through COVID and everything we had to do with the business. And I had not connected this at all. And Carol, you said, write down the 3 things you want to be known for. And guess what? They're what I'm calling my book. So I'm like,
Hey, that's wonderful.
success in the C-suite, and it's great leaders, great business, great impact. And that's what I want to be known for, right? I die today, hopefully.
So exciting.
I know.
That
I'm
is
so,
so great.
isn't that,
That's so great.
I could not
Perfect.
land, by the way, this is a long time in working on a title. I could not land on one I really felt good about. And then I'm so excited about this. I've got the whole thing reframed,
great.
reorganized, and
Super. Okay, so
Carol, could
I'm
I
gonna
jump
stop.
in? What I've
Yes.
noticed is when this is aligned, ladies, we're aligned. And so
Yes.
one of the benefits of the Women's Coaching and Consulting Council is get a success sister. And I'm starting in my program, every woman should have a boss, BOSS, a board of success sisters. Okay. So get a power partner, notice someone here today and set up a coffee time to do this exercise. And of course, retain and hire Carol and Deb to help you with this as well. But, that's part of our sisterhood. Don't do it alone. Thank you.
Right.
Carol, back to you.
Okay, so moving right along, here's how we can use those building blocks. So let's see, why is this not advancing? Oh, yes, your headline. So your headline is auto-filled by LinkedIn, but we also have 220 characters that we can customize our headline. And I'm going to show you with some of my clients' help how we can customize your headline so that you absolutely stand out. And you're using those building blocks that we just talked about. So this is my client, Jana, and Jana was not in a position when I worked with her. And so we started with a functional job title rather than a specific job title. And her functional job title is Senior Operations Executive. Then we added her differentiator. She's a proven turnaround leader. And what are the 3 things she wants to be known for? Assessing opportunities, aligning strategies, and deploying resources for success. So that is her headline now. And of course, she very soon after that became a member, or she became the COO of another organization. So let's see, why is this not advancing? Okay, so Mark is a strategic growth and customer focused executive. And how does he show up? He wants to be known for his transformational leadership, his ability to solve very naughty problems, and his development of people. Kirk is a wonderful, wonderful guy. When I met him, he was the VP of finance for a Fortune 500 company, and he was controlling a lot of money. But Kirk definitely wanted to be a CFO. He didn't want to be a vice president. As a vice president, he didn't have the influence that he wanted to make over a company. He wanted to be in the C-suite because this is how Kirk shows up. His functional title is Senior Finance Executive at CFO. And then we have a results statement, creating positive system-wide impact through, and here are the 3 things he wants to be known for: people development, collaboration, and innovation. Those are kind of interesting for a CFO. Kirk is now CFO of a company in Minneapolis. Here's mine. So I want to be known as an executive branding coach, speaker, and author. And then I talk directly to my clientele, C-suite executives. Share your eminence 24/7 without opening your mouth. 2, and here's the results: increase your visibility and influence, attract high-performing talent, and steer your career. So this is how we use those building blocks. We can use those building blocks also in the about section. You could have a paragraph for each of those things and your differentiator, perhaps, or you could organize it in a different way. But the concept is we want to narrow the focus of how people perceive us rather than the 6 things we want to be known for. Because when we're known for 6 things, we're not known for anything at all, except being unfocused. So with that, I turn it over to Deb.
All right. So, oops, I almost poked the wrong button and disconnected myself. Holy schmoly. It's wonderful to think about all of this stuff. And so what I'm going to talk about is some of the absolutely critical things that we see, that the people have mistakes in. And the first is your picture. You have to have a great picture. So let's show some icky ones. Now these are stock photography. Don't anybody go look for these. So okay, next slide, and then go ahead and click it twice. So that way we've got the first image. Selfies. LinkedIn is not the place for a selfie. Even I tell people, you don't have to spend a fortune and get a professional headshot. Your phone works well, but have somebody else take the picture. Selfies have their place, just not as your headshot on LinkedIn. I love this little boy. He's very cute, right? He's very professional. He's got his little hat on. My purpose for him there is to show that it has to be a current photo. It'd be great if we could all do that. But this is, and of course for ladies, and I know we now have Larry on the phone. We love Larry when he joins us. We change our hair. We do all these various things. Get a new headshot. My rule of thumb is if I have not met you and I am walking up to you at a networking event, I should be able to look at your LinkedIn picture and find you. So if it's not current enough for somebody to do that, don't have it there. So next click there, Carol. It's fun when we've got two people doing this, and we're what, like 5,000 miles apart, it seems like. So ain't technology grand? I love this. So this is to show what your background should not be. Unless this gentleman is a bamboo cultivator, whatever, that's not what he should be showing off, because that picture is showing off his background more than it is showing off him. So let's look at some things that are great images. So go ahead to the next slide. You want your picture to be warm, welcoming, professional, and for heaven's sakes, folks, smile. And that needs to be a natural smile. I always laugh. Anybody who watches Big Bang Theory, the Sheldon smile is scary. We don't like Sheldon smiles. But smile. You want people to look at your picture and go, oh gosh, I want to know that person. So these two are great examples of that. The second one that is up there is showing that you can be casual in your picture if that fits with your business. This gentleman might actually be, as someone who, is more of a blue collar worker. I'm not saying that because he has a blue shirt on, but if you typically wear polo shirts, with a logo on them, things like that, that it's okay to dress appropriately for your picture. If you wouldn't wear a suit and tie, or ladies, if we're not all spiffed up, it's okay to dress appropriately for your business. So this next image is a great example of a background, and she's obviously outside. It's just adding a little bit of color to the picture without being distracting. And then I put in this other image, which I debated about putting this in. I love this image. I mean, if I were to see this gentleman's image on his LinkedIn profile, it would not in any way turn me off. I wouldn't think, oh, that's not professional. To me, that's one of the most welcoming images that you could have. I mean, I just think that is a great image. So think about what your picture shows to the world when you've got it on LinkedIn. So next slide. The next big thing that I see a lot of people make mistakes in is that banner. That's that image that goes behind you. And think of it as a billboard. It is a customized billboard that you can put up there. And this is where you can have fun with it. This is where you can really do some more things with it. So I'm going to show you some examples of this. So the next slide. And you can, my favorite thing is to use Canva to set these up in, because it actually does it for the size you want. I received a request to connect early. Oops, back a slide, please.
Okay.
I received a request to connect earlier this week from somebody that was this. They had no professional picture and they had no banner. I did not connect with him. I mean, right? I'm like, no, I don't connect with the ghost people of the world. So it's very important that you go in and do something, even if you're just putting something with stock photography there. That's great to do that. So go ahead to the next one. This is an example of my friend Adam Ligeralde's background and cover image. It is very specific. I mean, he's obviously going to have to change it very soon because he's talking about the Lunar New Year. But it's showing great color. It's showing a lot of who he is. Now I've got the arrows there because these are some kind of ninja tricks. So the first one I want to talk about is right underneath Adam's picture. There's that little speaker. You can record a quick little thing that tells people how to say your name. Adam uses it because his last name is Aligeralde. I use it because my last name is Creer and most people say Crier, but you get 20 seconds, folks, so you can kind of use it as a little commercial. The other little ninja trick is over there on the right side with that bell. I want to get all of the notifications from LinkedIn when Adam posts. So if you click that bell, it automatically will notify me in the notification section of LinkedIn anytime Adam posts. And it actually notifies me on my phone also. So that's just kind of a little ninja trick to make sure that you don't miss somebody's posts and you want to see those. Okay, so next on. In this great, I actually don't know this gentleman. I just saw this and thought this was fabulous. It's a great cover image, right? He is showing his book. It's just an absolutely fantastic image. It's a great image of him, and a very, very great use of that, that cover image, that billboard. So next, please. Now, of course, we absolutely have to have this in here because it's a great example of stock photography being used. And then, could be your corporate logo, could be whatever. Obviously, fabulous picture of Kathleen. She's warm, she's welcoming. But right there, when you see just those two pieces, you're like, holy cow, this is somebody that I need to get to know. So let's go to the next slide. My biggest thing when people say, would you look at my profile and tell me what I need to do, is without even looking, I tell them you need to do more. People never, ever use as much space as they should, unless they've talked with Carol or myself. And the key is, this is in many cases someone's first introduction to you. Maybe it's a job, maybe it's a potential business partner, potential client, things like that. And if you use 2 sentences in all the various things, or not even fill them in, right? How many times have we gone to somebody's profile and they're blank? This is how you are telling the story. So next slide, please. What we're really doing is your LinkedIn profile is telling the story of your professional career. So use all of those characters. And the trick is write it in Word, and it's characters and spaces. And so, have word count for you. It will do that. Plus it catches your spelling errors, all those various things. But you really want to tell the story so that people get enough about you that they think, oh my gosh, I absolutely have to connect with this person. And more importantly, work with them, give them business, give them money, all of those things. So you really want to make sure that you have completed this part. Next one. Now here's a fun one. I am going to put and we all should be doing this. We all need to put our LinkedIn URLs in there so that we see, so that we can connect with each other. And please make sure to save the chat so that you have this, so that we can all make sure that we are connected. But when we first set up your LinkedIn profile, it gives you this wonkadoodle thing that is kind of your name and a whole bunch of numbers. You want to go in and personalize that. So you'll notice that, this person has Jane Finley, COO. So she has also added her title in there. It's okay to do that. Now you want to keep it short and sweet. I wouldn't want mine to say Deb Creer, podcast person, because we have to be able to remember it. But you want to go in and personalize that. So I'm looking here we're not, no judgment, no anything. Is there anyone who has not personalized their LinkedIn URL? Everybody have theirs? Okay, because we're going to skip ahead. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do it, but go ahead to the next slide, Carol. It's very easy to do this. Now, one of the things that you want to remember is if you change it, that sometimes messes up the search. So this is not a way, this is not something that you go in and change, every other week. Once you've kind of got your URL set, you want to keep it. Plus, it doesn't look back. So if I change mine is Deborah Creer. If I change it to Deb Creer, those who know, who might have that link because it's on business cards, things like that, as Deborah Creer, it wouldn't find me. So think about it. This is something, it's kind of like your website URL. you don't want to be willy-nilly changing it. You want to have it something that stays. Next slide. Okay, I think we're going to
We don't
skip
need
this
to do
part.
that.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, because you're all so good. You're so good. So there's, several other sections that I always think are absolutely critical. And the skills section, that's a great way for people who don't know you, or as we were saying when we were talking about your key words, maybe, we know people in one way, but they have other skills. It's always really funny when people, look at my stuff and they go, wow, you do this or you do that. And you can put those in skills so that they can see, oh yeah, this is there. Education, absolutely positively critical to have that in there. I've seen some folks do high school, maybe not. Oh, back a slide.
Yep, sorry.
And but put education in there, and there's several reasons you want to do that. You can also put trade schools, certifications, things like that in there too. But it's very important because it's a great way for people to connect. There are people who connect with other alumni. And so you want to do that. And it's funny. I love when Carol is talking about headline, because I've got a little funny part in mine, and I go back and forth about it. In my professional headline, it says college sports fan. Clearly that has nothing to do with my professional life, but I have had 5 people who have connected with me simply because they love college sports. And then we've gone further into that. So sometimes you can have a little bit of fun with things like that. But education is very important because you're always searching. Now, I'll be honest, I have taken off the dates of when I was at those places. I really don't want people figuring out how old I am anymore, even though it's really not a huge deal. But I've taken off the dates that I attended the universities that I have. And then the other thing, it's funny, it's been beneath my speaker here, so I can't see what it is. Volunteerism. I think that's another very key point that you want to put in there, because it again, it's part of that know, like, trust. And and when we see things like that, we go, oh, this is great. You have that information in there so that people can see that. It's also a great way for you to show off more of your experience. It might be that you have experience with, say, special event planning, but you've never been paid to do it. Maybe you did it as a volunteer, and so you want to highlight that there. And again, it's a great way for people to find you when they're searching. I've done that more than once, where I'm looking for somebody who has very specific volunteer experience. I will put that into the key thing. And the thing to remember about LinkedIn search is it is incredible. It is very much keyword focused. It's Google is Google doesn't have much on it. So that's why you really want to think about the words that you use throughout your profile. It is absolutely critical to have those in there for its search feature. All righty, next one, please. So here we are at the end. It's pretty funny. My timer is just about to go off. I had 6 seconds left on my timer. What do you know? We did this just right. So there is how to reach us. Obviously we want to connect with everybody on LinkedIn. So be sure to put that in there. And I know the next slide is a little bit more about Carol.
Okay, so I wanted to share with you that my book, LinkedIn for the Savvy Executive, is winner of Best LinkedIn Books of All Time Award by Book Authority.
Woohoo!
And it's also a C-Suite Book Club selected feature.
Yes.
And
Woohoo!
this month, I read
Yes.
in the newsletter, I couldn't believe it, that members get to select a book that they would like to receive from the C-Suite.
Mhm.
And my book is among them. So by all means, do that. If you, there are a lot of good books, but mine is among them. And I was excited for that.
Great tips. Absolutely
And
fabulous
now-
tips. Mine, I should have had mine handy too, like, and been able to show it off. So, little personal plug here. We do have LinkedIn for C-Suite, and we work with professionals, C-level professionals, to truly update their profiles, and make them stand out from the crowd. So, we do have a discount code for C-suite members in there. Be happy to chat with you. And the initial consultation is free. So, and I promise I will say more than just, you need to have more.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I think we want to open it up to folks for questions.
Yeah, so let's take it, put it on gallery mode and just a couple minutes for questions, because ladies and gentlemen, take yourself off mute. Let's give Deb and Carol some love in here. Woohoo!
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yay.
Is that awesome?
I see that
Thank you, guys.
Cindy has her hand up, her little virtual
Yeah,
hand.
please. Yep. Jump in, Cindy. Yes. Hi.
Ladies, this was fantastic. Oh my gosh, I got so many good tips because I've been kind of a LinkedIn. I used to know it pretty well, but it's changed a lot over the 8 years I've been in business. And this was exactly what I needed to inspire me to make the changes. And one of my questions is, so I have a very varied background. When you were talking about the professional, share your professional career, I was a paralegal, I was in IT, I was senior business analyst, marketing, development, nonprofit, and now, ghostwriter, writer, book coach, all that good stuff, and speaker. Like, how much of your story do you share? Because it is all relevant. I'm able to write great books because of my experience in all these areas, but it's almost kind of like, vomit too, because like, how much do people really want to know? It's just a lot. Can you give some guidance on, where do I cut it? You said 5 paragraphs, and I could probably put it in 5 paragraphs, but do people really want to know all that?
My advice in the about section is focus on the overarching themes that fit in with everything that you did. So maybe it's that you're very organized, you're very detail oriented, customer focused, things like that. And then in the experience section is where you go into details on those. Same with your key words that go at the top. There were certainly things probably that carried over in everything you did. Maybe it's that you're people focused. Things like that.
And just as a follow-up for that, if we were to work with you, either one of you, do you work together as a team or are you individual?
We're individual.
Okay.
So either one. Carol's absolutely fabulous.
Oh, I know. I don't even know how I would pick, because I love both of you. Do you do the writing as well?
Both of them.
Yes,
I know. Yeah. Wouldn't it be
Come
great?
on.
Like, how about that? Like a coffee with both of you and working together. I love it. You can pick out a partner package or something. Would you also do the writing? Because and that's funny coming from a ghostwriter and editor, I know, but.
So we actually write the profile. We interview, and I say we,
Good.
as in I have writers that I hire because that's not my forte. And so they interview the person. We do not do posts. I think, LinkedIn is, it needs to be personal.
Oh,
you're talking about your personal brand.
Profile.
But the profile we write.
As marketing myself is always the hardest, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
So great.
Talking
Thank
about
you so
ourselves is horribly hard.
Thanks.
So I wanted to share one of my primary gifts is writing and branding. I worked for 20 years for Fortune 500 company as a consultant in marketing communications. So I know brand, I know writing. They had me launch first of kind products all over the world. So I consider myself to be a world-class marketing communications expert.
You are.
And I bring that to the people that I work with.
Wonderful.
So,
thank you.
Yeah.
And ladies, you and I know we could answer questions. You could answer questions for so long. Can our attendees, our participants, Women's Coaching and Consulting Council, and all the vast people that are watching this, can they send you a direct message on LinkedIn?
Sure.
And connect with you. Yeah.
And I'm actually going to put in the chat feature my calendar. If somebody just wants to skip ahead and
Awesome.
And schedule time, there's my calendar link.
Great.